Nobody saw it coming. Not Amy, not Jack, not even the fans who thought they knew everything about Heartland. It started like any normal day on the ranch, but something was wrong. Something was missing. A calm sky doesn't mean there's no storm, and in Season 19's very first episode, that storm begins to rise. Asterisk, the sun rises over Heartland Ranch just like it always has. The horses move quietly in the early light. Amy walks among them, her touch gentle, her face calm but her eyes? They search the horizon for someone who isn't there. A small smile hides the heaviness in her chest. She brushes her hand over Spartan's mane, holding back tears no one else sees. Inside the house, Lou rushes through her morning routine. Katie's asking questions, but Lou doesn't have the answers, not yet. She distracts herself with work, talking about council meetings and new town projects, but it's all noise. She's trying to stay strong, but the cracks are starting to show. Meanwhile, Jack stands by the barn, repairing an old wooden gate. His movements are slow, thoughtful. He pauses now and then, as if waiting for someone to come riding up the path. But no one comes. He pulls his hat lower to shade his eyes, but it's really to hide the worry that never left since that day. Tim is nowhere in sight. Lindy asks where Grandpa Tim is. Amy pauses. He's away for a bit, she says gently. But even she doesn't know where he really is. And that's when you realize something big happened before this episode started. The piece is just a mask, and soon it's going to fall apart. There's a silent understanding between the characters, like they've all agreed not to talk about it. At least not yet. They move through the day with fake smiles and half-spoken sentences. The camera lingers on small things, a missing photo on the shelf, a chair no one sits in anymore, a jacket left behind. Clues that someone important is gone. As the episode moves forward, the air grows heavier. Amy opens a drawer and finds an old note, her hand shaking slightly. Jack watches her from the doorway, but says nothing. Lou walks outside and stares into the distance. Lindy tugs her hand and asks, "Will he come back soon?" Lou kneels down, hugs her tight, and says softly, "I hope so, sweetie." The scene fades, but one thing is clear: this is not just a regular morning at Heartland. A storm is coming. And someone the fans love may never return. Asterisk, there's something strange about the silence in the house. It's not just quiet, heavy, like everyone is holding their breath. Amy walks into the kitchen early in the morning. The coffee is still hot, but no one's drinking it. Lou stands by the window, staring outside as if waiting for someone to arrive. Amy gently asks, "Did you hear from him?" Lou shakes her head slowly. "Nothing," she says. That one word says more than a whole conversation. At breakfast, everyone tries to act normal, but it's not the same. Jack offers toast to Katie, who refuses and leaves the table without a word. Amy stirs her tea without drinking. They talk about chores and small plans for the day, but no one mentions what. They're really thinking. They all miss someone, and they don't know how to talk about it. Amy heads to the barn and finds something that stops her in her tracks. A jacket, still hanging where it always was. Dust is starting to gather on it. She reaches out and touches the sleeve gently, as if holding on to a memory. Her eyes close for a moment, and you can tell this isn't just someone who left. This is someone who mattered deeply. Later, Lou sits on the porch with Jack. She's trying to be strong, but her voice breaks when she says, "He didn't even say goodbye properly." Jack doesn't say much, but the way he grips his coffee cup shows how hard this is hitting him too. "Sometimes people leave because they think it's easier," Jack finally says. But it never is. Georgie hasn't come back either. Her name is never said out loud, but fans will notice. Amy looks at her phone and scrolls through old messages, stopping at one from Georgie that says, "I just need time." No one knows where she is now. That gap is growing wider with every passing day. Lindy walks into the barn and asks Amy why everyone's so sad. Amy kneels and hugs her tightly. "Sometimes people we love need to go away for a while," she whispers. "But it doesn't mean they stop loving us." Lindy nods, but she's too young to understand the full weight of those words. Heartland has always been about family, But in this episode, the family feels broken, like a puzzle with one missing piece. And what hurts the most is not knowing when or if that piece will come back. The ones who remain are trying to stay strong. But the space left behind is impossible to ignore. Every glance, every silence, every pause tells the audience that someone is missing. And that absence is shaping the story in ways no one expected. Asterisk, something doesn't feel right at Heartland. And it's not just the silence, it's the little things. Clues are hidden all around the ranch, like a quiet trail waiting to be followed. Amy opens the tack room and notices a saddle is missing. Not just any saddle, it belonged to someone close. She pauses, staring at the empty hook. Her hands tremble as she runs her fingers across the space where it once hung. It's like the person who left tried to erase their presence, but couldn't quite do it. Outside, Jack finds something strange in the barn. A letter folded and tucked beneath a toolbox. It's not addressed, and the handwriting is rushed, almost like it was written in a moment of panic. He doesn't open it right away. Instead, he slips it into his pocket and walks away, his expression unreadable. But fans watching closely will know this letter holds answers, maybe even a final goodbye. Lou tries to stay busy. She's constantly checking her tablet, replying to messages, attending meetings that don't really matter. But every time someone mentions family, her face changes. Her smile disappears for a second too long. And when Katie asks why her aunt hasn't visited, Lou just says she needed space. The way she says it, though, makes it sound permanent. Amy sees an old photo lying on the barn floor, half-torn and dusty. It's from a happier time, one where everyone was together. She picks it up and stares at it for a long moment. You can feel her heart break without her saying a word. She tucks it into her jacket quietly, as if she's not ready to let go just yet. Meanwhile, the camera lingers on details most viewers might miss. A voicemail never returned. A room left untouched. A name no one dares to say. It's clear this person didn't just go on a trip. They left with purpose. Maybe even regret. Tim hasn't appeared yet either. His absence is loud, especially during family moments. Jack sits in Tim's usual spot on the porch, staring into the distance. I told him not to run, Jack mutters to himself. It's the first time anyone says something out loud that sounds like truth. Amy finds herself replaying old memories, rides across the field, conversations by the fire, smiles that once felt unbreakable. Now those memories are like ghosts. She starts to ask Lou, do you think they'll ever come back? But stops herself. Because deep down, she already knows the answer. This episode drops its clues like gentle snowflakes, each one adding to the weight of loss. And for fans who are really watching, the signs are becoming clearer. Someone is truly gone. Not for a day, not for a week. Maybe for good. Asterisk, the truth has a way of rising, no matter how deep it's buried. And in this moment, the silence at Heartland finally breaks. It starts with a sound-soft footsteps in the kitchen, the clink of a mug hitting the counter. Amy walks in, her face tired, her eyes full of questions she's been holding for too long. Lou is already there, staring into her coffee, not drinking, just thinking. The morning feels cold, even though the sun is shining through the window. Amy doesn't raise her voice. She doesn't need to. Why didn't you tell me? She asks softly. Lou looks up, surprised but not shocked. She knew this moment was coming. I didn't know how, she says. I thought it would hurt less if we didn't say it out loud. Amy's hands grip the edge of the counter. You let me think everything was fine, that he'd just come back. Lou's eyes fill with tears. I was hoping he would. But he's not. And with those words, the weight finally crashes down. The camera stays close as emotions overflow, Amy's face turning pale, Lou's voice shaking, both of them finally facing the truth. The person who left didn't just walk away. He chose to disappear, and Lou has known longer than she's admitted. She opens her phone and shows Amy a message. It's short, final. I can't come back. Please understand. Amy reads it again and again. Her heart is breaking, but a part of her also understands. Why would he leave without saying goodbye? She whispers. Because saying goodbye means it's real, Lou replies later that day. The truth spills to Jack. He walks into the barn, sees Amy crying, and doesn't ask. He knows. He sits beside her in silence, then finally says, "Some people run when they're scared, but we stay." That's what makes us Heartland. Even Katie overhears more than she should. She stands in the hallway, clutching her stuffed horse, listening to Lou talk about someone being too hurt to stay. Her young voice breaks through the tension. Is he ever coming home? No one answers. The silence speaks louder than words. This moment, this painful truth changes everything. The characters can't hide behind work or routine anymore. The departure is real, and now everyone must face it together. There's sadness, yes, but there's also strength in truth. It opens the door to healing for fans watching this confrontation. Is the heart of episode 1. It's raw, it's real, and it sets the tone for the entire season. What's coming next won't be easy. But Heartland has always shown that even when people leave, the love they leave behind still remains. Asterisk, the waiting is over. The questions, the silences, the hints, they all lead to this one truth. And when it finally comes out, it doesn't scream. It lands softly, like snow on a warm day, melting before it hits the ground, but still cold enough to sting the person who left. Is Georgie. Amy stands alone in the barn as Jack hands her the letter he found earlier. It's written in Georgie's handwriting, the one Amy knows so well. Her hands tremble as she opens it. The first line reads, "I'm sorry, but I had to go." Amy sinks to the bench, reading every word as tears quietly slide down her face. Georgie didn't leave because of anger. She didn't run away in the middle of a fight. She left because she was lost inside herself. The letter talks about feeling trapped, like she didn't know who she was anymore. She loved Heartland, but it started to feel like a cage instead of a home. She needed to find her own path. She needed to breathe without everyone watching. Lou reads the letter next, holding it like it might fall apart in her hands. She said she didn't want to hurt us, Lou whispers. She just didn't know how to stay, Jack nods, quiet and still. Sometimes leaving feels like the only choice, he says. Amy blames herself. Did I miss the signs? Was I too busy to see it? But the truth is, no one saw it coming because Georgie hid it so well. The brave girl who once rode wild horses and dreamed of the Olympics had started to feel like a stranger in her own life. The episode shows flashes of Georgie's last days at Heartland. She smiles in front of others, but her eyes are tired. She trains hard, but her heart isn't in it anymore. She walks through the fields alone, her expression distant. One night she looks at a photo of her younger self and whispers, "Who are you now?" Her final message isn't filled with anger. It's filled with love. "Please don't come after me," she writes. "Let me find myself, and when I'm ready, I'll come home." It's not goodbye forever, but it feels like it. And that makes it even harder. The truth hits every member of the family differently. Katie cries quietly in her room, hugging the stuffed toy Georgie gave her. Jack walks the pastures in silence, staring at the horizon. Amy sits on Georgie's bed, holding the old photo of them together. For fans, this reveal is heartbreaking. Georgie wasn't just another character, she was family. Her exit leaves a hole that no one can fill. But more than anything, it shows how even the strongest people can feel lost. And sometimes leaving is the only way to come back stronger. Asterisk, the letter is read. The truth is known, but life doesn't stop at Heartland Ranch. It just feels quieter now, different, as if every corner of the house and every inch of the barn is waiting for Georgie to return. But she doesn't, and that absence settles into everything like dust in the sunlight. Amy stands by the arena, watching the horses run. Normally, she would call for Georgie to join her, but her voice catches in her throat. She tries to focus on training a new horse, but her mind keeps drifting. Every move, every sound reminds her of Georgie. Even Spartan seems slower, like he misses her too. Inside the house, Lou tries to hold it together. She fills her day with work emails, phone calls, meetings, but she keeps glancing at the stairs, expecting to hear footsteps that never come. Katie sees it too. She asks, "Will she call today?" Lou forces a smile. "Maybe tomorrow." But each tomorrow feels farther away. Jack finds his own way to cope. He fixes fences that don't need fixing, repairs the gate again. He even oils Georgie's old saddle, even though no one will use it now. She be back, he tells Amy, but the words sound more like a wish than a belief. He's seen people leave before, but Georgie leaving cuts deeper. She was more than family. She was hope. Amy tries writing back. She starts the letter 3 times, but tears the paper up each time. What do you say to someone who's already gone? She wonders aloud. She wants to tell Georgie she understands, that she forgives her, that she misses her more than words can say, but the silence between them feels too wide. That night, the family sits for dinner. No one speaks at first. Then Jack lifts his glass. To Georgie, he says softly. May she find what she's looking for. Everyone raises their glasses, but their eyes are sad. Katie leans into Amy's side, whispering, I miss her. Amy kisses her forehead. Me too, baby, me too. The episode doesn't offer a neat ending. There's no sudden phone call or surprise return. Just the hard truth of moving forward when a part of your heart is missing. The characters are left picking up the emotional pieces, trying to figure out how to live without someone who once made their world feel whole. But even in the sadness, there's strength. Amy takes Lindy to the barn and teaches her to ride again. Lou smiles when Katie shows her a drawing of their family with Georgie still in it. Jack tells a story about Georgie's first wild ride, and for a moment laughter returns to the table. They are still a family. Bruised but not broken. And in that quiet, honest pain, fans are reminded why they fell in love with Heartland in the first place. Asterisk, the sky over Heartland feels different now, open, wide, and full of questions. Georgie is gone, and her absence still lingers like the echo of a horse's gallop in the hills. But slowly something begins to shift, not all at once, not loudly, but gently, like the first breeze after a long winter. Life starts to move again. Amy wakes up early one morning, and instead of sadness, she feels something else, purpose. She steps into the barn with Lindy holding her hand. Together they feed the horses. Lindy points to a foal and says, That one should be called Brave? Amy smiles, surprised. That's a perfect name. It's a small moment, but it matters. Because healing doesn't come in grand gestures. It comes in steps. Lou, too, begins to look forward. She finds an old scrapbook Georgie made when she first came to Heartland. It's full of memories, photos, little notes, ticket stubs from shows. As Lou flips through the pages, something changes. In her eyes. She calls Katie over and says, Let's add some new pages. It's not replacing the past. It's building on it. Jack walks the fields and finds a young colt that's been skittish for days. He approaches slowly, gently, just like he once taught Georgie. It's all right, boy, he says, patting its neck. And just for a second, the colt trusts him. That trust means more now. It reminds Jack that no matter how much changes, the heart of Heartland stays the same. Then something unexpected happens. A car pulls up to the ranch, not Georgie's, but a stranger. A young woman steps out with a nervous smile. I heard this place helps horses, and maybe people too. Amy watches her carefully. Behind that smile is pain. The same kind Georgie once carried. Amy offers a warm welcome. You came to the right place. It's a quiet but powerful way to end the episode. One chapter ends and another one begins. Georgie may be gone, but her spirit stays. It lives in every lesson taught, every horse saved, and every person welcomed with an open heart. The final scenes leave fans with a mix of emotions, grief, love, and hope. Amy places a new photo on the shelf, right beside the old ones. It's a picture of the family at dinner, Georgie's empty seat still there, but this time no one is avoiding it. They're accepting it, holding space for her return, whenever that may be. And just before the screen fades, Amy looks out over the ranch and whispers, Come back when you're ready. It's not just a wish, it's a promise.